Thank you so much. A warm welcome back to everybody from lunch break. We will be commencing in the next 30 seconds, so if you could please all take your seats. I'm going to take this opportunity just to remind you to please continue to keep your phones on silent and to please post as many pictures and videos as possible on social media using the hashtag AEW24. Now, if you had joined us a little bit before the break, we had spoken about the fact that this is our closing session for today here on the Leopard stage, and it is the Energy Transition Summit. It's the launch of the IEA report, Renewable Energy Opportunities, for none other than Namibia, a country that I am growing to love very much. I was just saying to the minister, I had the privilege of going there a little bit earlier this year, and it feels just like home because of the way they welcome you there. But in order to get us started, I'll invite somebody to come and give us the opening remarks, and this is none other than the Deputy Executive Director of International Energy Agency. Please help me warmly welcome to stage Mary Burce Warlick. A round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, Honorable Minister of Mines and Energy of Namibia, Mr. Tom Alweendo, Namibia's Green Hydrogen Program team, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and valued partners. I'm really very delighted to be with you here today on the occasion of the launch of the IEA's report, Renewable Energy Opportunities for Namibia. And I'd like to begin by expressing my deep gratitude to the Ministry of Mines and Energy for co-hosting this event and for the great collaboration with the International Energy Agency in recent years. Honorable Minister, I'd like to reiterate our sincere thanks to you personally and to all the dedicated team and colleagues at the Ministry of Mines and Energy, including the Namibia Green Hydrogen Program team in particular, for the excellent collaboration on this report on renewable energy opportunities for Namibia. It's really a pleasure to be launching this report with you, and knowing we are just a short flight away from Windhoek, it almost feels like we brought Namibia, the land of the brave, to the room here today. So why Namibia? Some among the audience may ask. Namibia is indeed a very exciting partner, a country blessed with plentiful opportunities in the energy sector and a strong, clear vision to harness renewable energy for accelerated and sustainable socio-economic development and industrialization. When we first started thinking about this report at the IEA, we had a few questions that we wanted to answer. First, what opportunities can an accelerated deployment of renewables bring to Namibia's power sector? But also, what are the drivers and implications of renewables in the mining sector? Namibia has an ambitious green hydrogen strategy and has been taking a leading role in the renewable hydrogen space. So we wanted to also assess the scale, the associated investments, and the implications of the renewable hydrogen and derivatives opportunities. And most importantly, to answer the question, how can these opportunities support and enhance socioeconomic development through benefits derived from careful policy and project design? And what are the key enablers for these economy-wide benefits to materialize? While my colleague Rita Madeira will present the key findings of the report in more detail shortly, I'd like to highlight just a few key takeaways from our findings that I think are really particularly impactful. The first should come as no surprise to those following closely the Namibian energy sector. The quality of Namibia's wind and solar resources really is among the best in the world. The abundance and quality of these resources therefore underpin the government's vision for sustainable development and industrialization, with renewable energy as a cornerstone of its socio-economic advancement. And while the Honorable Minister is better placed to discuss this than I am, it's important to stress that this vision was also the starting point, really, of our analysis. Indeed, we have found that backed by robust policies to harness these resources, renewable energy could play a central role in advancing this vision, stimulating socioeconomic development while driving value creation and industrialization. Renewables can also naturally play a big role in Namibia's power sector, both by lowering costs and increasing energy security, as the country currently relies on expensive electricity imports. With nearly 45% of Namibians lacking access to electricity at the moment, particularly in rural areas, renewables could also support efforts to reach universal access by 2040, as currently envisaged by the government. Now, off-grid solutions are particularly compelling in sparsely populated areas across the country, especially to provide basic bundles until a more permanent solution can be provided. As Namibia's largest industrial sector, representing 14% of GDP, mining currently consumes 21% of the country's electricity. So integrating renewables into mining operations can therefore enhance the competitiveness of Namibian products in global markets while also increasing efficiency in its operations. And this will be all the more important as Namibia develops its downstream industry to capture a greater share of the mineral value chain, which will also see electricity demand increase. And Namibia has been leading efforts to pursue renewable hydrogen opportunities, securing various partnerships across the globe, and held the first Global African Hydrogen Summit in Windhoek just a few months ago. The high-quality renewable resources combined with ample available land for project development can indeed facilitate the competitive production of renewable hydrogen. And achieving these ambitions hinges on three critical enablers on which Namibia has already taken significant steps. These include mobilizing affordable finance, creating strong policy design, and continued calibration and building long-term partnerships. Attracting capital is key to unlocking the promise of becoming a competitive producer. We must all work together to address the fact that the cost of capital in many emerging markets and developing economies can be prohibitively high, sometimes as much as twice or even 3 times that in advanced economies. So clear policy and building lasting alliances with off-takers can help to mitigate this. For its part, the International Energy Agency has been working hard to shed light on this formidable barrier to energy investment globally, and we're working with partners on ways to address the structural impediment to development. At the IEA, we're truly pleased to continue supporting and working with Namibia in achieving its vision of sustainable development and economic growth, and to continue working closely together on data and energy statistics as part of our core mandate. So, Honorable Minister, thank you very much once more for the fruitful collaboration and for the opportunity to launch this report alongside you. It really is a great pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you very much.
I don't know if any of you have heard of I don't know, maybe it's a parable, perhaps it's a poem, perhaps it's a saying to somebody, some of you, the man in the arena. I think it goes without saying that the next speaker is a man in the arena by virtue of just being here and fighting for Africa, the advancement of Africa, having the conversations that will take us forward, sign, baby, sign, as they said a little bit earlier, and just ensuring that we come together and have integration as a continent. I want to introduce to stage, I have the utmost pleasure of bringing him up, the Minister of Mines and Energy for the Republic of Namibia. Please help me warmly welcome Minister Tom Alweendo.
Thank you so much for that introduction, the man in the arena. I didn't know that we are signing anything today. but I know we have signed some sort of deals already in the morning, but let me just say good afternoon to all of us, and to thank all of you, our distinguished guests, industry leaders, representatives from the International Energy Agency, and I've seen a number of Namibian stakeholders in the audience, and all those who have joined us this afternoon for the launch of this important report on renewable energy. Now, today, for us, really marks the launch of a report that represents a new chapter in Namibia's renewable energy journey. And this report, the product of a close collaboration, as Mary said, between Namibia and the International Energy Agency, is the first of its kind that has been developed through such a very collaborative partnership. And by bringing together global expertise and also Namibia's unique energy landscape, this report really provides not only reliable data that we all need, we need data, and also detailed analysis, but also it really provides us that very needed insight that will be valuable for us as policymakers, and also for you as industry stakeholders, and also just to the public in general. Therefore, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to begin by extending our sincere gratitude to all those who played a vital role in developing this report. And in particular, I would like to recognize Mary Burce, Deputy Executive Director of the IEA, and also our Director of Energy, Mr. John Titus, whose leadership helped guide this collaboration. I would also like to acknowledge the essential contribution of Ms. Rita, Rita Madeira, the EIA's Africa Program Manager for West and Southern Africa. Your expertise, insight, and unwavering support have really been invaluable to this effort, and we are grateful for your role in bringing this report to its completion. Additionally, we are fortunate to have the input of many stakeholders from across Namibia. For example, the Green Hydrogen Office that is led by Mr. James Mnyupe, and also representatives from the electricity supply industry. I have seen the Managing Director from NamPower, Mr. Halofu here. I also from the mining sector, from the transportation sector, and most importantly also from our academic institutions. And this diversity of perspectives, which is always important to have diversity in terms of what we intend to do, this really has helped to shape a report that is not only comprehensive but deeply relevant to our national context. Now, the purpose and importance of this report. Why is it really important, and why did we come up with this report? This report, ladies and gentlemen, serves as a practical purpose. It serves a practical purpose to provide us with a clear, accurate information on Namibia's renewable energy landscape, including current opportunities and also challenges, because wherever there are opportunities, there are always those challenges. It is therefore intended as a tool to support informed decision-making and also to broaden our understanding within Namibia and also among our international partners, especially those who would want to partner us in developing this energy source. This information will help guide efforts to strengthen our energy policies and also to create an energy system that supports sustainable economic growth and also that meets the needs of all our citizens. The partnership with the IEA has been instrumental in ensuring the report's quality and also its reach. By working with the IEA, Namibia has been able to draw on a global network of energy expertise that enabled us to present data and analysis that will resonate with stakeholders, as I said, both within and also outside Namibia. The result is a report that is not only a reflection of Namibia's renewable energy journey, but also an important contribution to the global understanding of energy development in Africa in general, and also in Namibia in particular. Let me just say a few words about some of the key findings of the report. This report offers detailed insights across several key areas of Namibia's energy landscape, providing, as I say, data and recommendations that are actionable and also timely. Let me share some of the highlights. One, electricity access and security. One of the key topics that is often addressed, which also addressed in this report, is the challenge of expanding electricity access across Namibia. Currently, nearly half of our population lacks a reliable connection to the grid, with rural areas being particularly really underserved. The report therefore highlights the importance of a decentralized energy approach to bridge this gap. By harnessing Namibia's abundant renewable resources, especially that of solar and wind, we can bring clean, affordable energy to regions that are difficult to connect through traditional means. The report's data will be instrumental as we work towards ensuring that energy access is not a privilege, but a right for every Namibian. And by supporting policy development that emphasizes decentralized energy solutions, we can also create a more inclusive energy future that serves all Namibians, regardless of where you live in the country. The second highlights about the renewable energy potential. Namibia, as was said, is very uniquely positioned to become a leader in renewable energy, and that is thanks to our extraordinary solar irradiance levels and also favorable wind conditions. The report provides a roadmap for harnessing these resources to meet the ambitious target of achieving 70% of renewable energy by the year 2030, as highlighted in our National Integrated Resource Plan that was launched in 2022. Now, such progress would make Namibia a regional leader in sustainable energy and also will position us as an exporter of clean energy and an example of renewable energy potential on the African continent. The third highlight is to do with mining and our industries. Mining remains one of Namibia's most vital sectors, and the report highlights how renewable energy can enhance its efficiency and also sustainability. By integrating solar and wind energy into mining operations, we can reduce operational costs and lower emissions, making Namibia's resources more competitive on the global market. This shifting aligns with the global push for more sustainable industrial practices, which will benefit both our economy and also the environment. Now, this section of the report also emphasizes the role of renewables in strengthening our industrial base. By investing in renewable infrastructure, Namibia can increase its self-reliance and resilience, especially in energy-intensive sectors like mining. The fourth highlight is regarding green hydrogen potential. Our green hydrogen program holds very exciting potential, and the report underscores how our country's unique attributes, abundant sunlight, open land, and strategic location make us well suitable for green hydrogen production. This sector could generate thousands of jobs, drive economic growth, and position Namibia as a significant supplier of green energy on the global stage. And therefore, the report projection for the green hydrogen sector really offers us a glimpse into a future where Namibia is both an energy producer and also as a driver of sustainable energy economic opportunities. I also want to say the report does also provide us a vision of how renewable energy can support local communities, how it can create pathways for sustainable growth that are not only inclusive but also equitable. Now, the last highlight is probably just to talk about how this report aligns closely with Namibia's national policies. It includes our Vision 2030, it includes our Harambee Prosperity Plan, and also our Green Industrialization Blueprint that we have launched not long ago, bringing all this together. Our commitment to renewable energy is clear, and this report supports our efforts to make energy a catalyst for economic development and social progress. By grounding our policies in high-quality data and analysis, we are ensuring that our approach to renewable energy is both effective and accountable to the needs of our people. Let me just conclude by again expressing our appreciation once again to all those who contributed to this report, to Ms. Mary Burce, Rita, Madeira, and the entire team. Thank you for your commitment to this partnership and for helping Namibia's energy story to be a global audience. And this report is a testament to the power of collaboration, and I am confident it will serve as a valuable resource for all who are involved in advancing Namibia's energy future. To our Namibian colleagues, as I said, I've seen a lot of you in the audience, let us make use of this report, not only as a tool for understanding, but as a guide for action. Because again, it's action what that matters. I can guarantee you the people who do not have electricity at home, they hear us talking about this thing, they probably think, well, it sounds good, but for them it doesn't mean anything until that day when they have electricity. And therefore, I hope that this report is also going to actually urge us to do something which is actionable. Our journey to a sustainable energy future will require commitment, it will require partnership, and also a bold vision. By working together, we can ensure that renewable energy becomes a foundation for growth and prosperity for all Namibia. And once again, I want to thank all of you who have come to here, and I don't know, I will probably say the report is now officially launched. I wish I had a copy of the report that I can say this is now officially launched, so that at least you don't say, oh, I was just talking. I was then want to say, Mary, don't you want to come up here and we can launch it? So we can then say together, we have launched.
Very good.
We have officially now launched the report on renewable energy in Namibia as a tool I hope all of us are going to be using to make sure that we act. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to have this copy.
Well, with that, the report is officially launched a little bit earlier. Mary did give some highlights, but now we're going to go into the key findings of the report on renewable energy opportunities for Namibia. And this is going to be delivered to us by the Africa Program Manager, International Energy Agency. You've heard her name a couple of times already on stage. Please, a round of applause for Rita Madeira.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, distinguished audience. It's officially launched. I'm very honored to be here today and present the key findings of this report that we worked on very closely with the Ministry of Mines and Energy. As my Deputy Executive Director mentioned in her remarks, and if I could just get the presentation on the screen, that would be fantastic. But as we get it pulled up, I'll just say that as my Deputy Executive Director mentioned in her remarks earlier today, when we started working on this report, we had a set of questions that we wanted to answer. And among those questions, there were two that quickly emerged as critical. The first one is, how can Namibia's tremendous renewable energy opportunities support and enhance socioeconomic development? And what are the key enablers for these economy-wide benefits to materialize? And as we go through the key findings, we will explore these opportunities across Namibia's energy system, and we will look at those findings across from the power sector to the mining industry, the nascent renewable hydrogen industry, and all stemming from the same policy vision of leveraging sustainable growth and development, as the Honourable Minister has mentioned. So our first key finding highlights what we already knew, but now data confirms it, is that Namibia's energy resource potential is remarkable. The country is indeed endowed with exceptional solar and wind resources that really stand out on the global stage. Average wind speeds in southern and coastal region exceeds 7 meters per second, and capacity factors can reach 50%. Photovoltaic systems in Namibia can generate twice as much electricity as comparable systems in Central Europe. Backed by robust policies to help harness these resources, renewable energy could play a central role in reducing import dependency, lowering costs, improving access, and creating new export products, driving industrialization. But looking at the power sector a little bit in more detail, what are the benefits that renewables can offer to this sector? Namibia currently relies on imports of electricity, roughly 60 to 70%, sourced for neighboring countries. This, over recent years, has led to a significant increase in spending on purchased power to $5 billion United States dollars in 2023, and this was up from $4 billion in 2019 due to the rising cost of imported electricity. Now, Namibia's domestic production of electricity already comes primarily from hydropower, large-scale solar PV, among other sources, and therefore deploying more renewables could enhance energy security and reduce costs for the consumer. Namibia is also among a few countries in Africa to have cost-reflective tariffs and sound financials on the utility. Given the competitive prices that the government has been able to secure through public tenders, renewables are poised to become a cost-effective new source of domestic power. But looking at access, and as the Honourable Minister has mentioned, this is a key topic for Namibians. The deployment of renewables could indeed help Namibia reach its goal of providing universal access to electricity by 2040. And notably, they have large prospects for addressing grid access issues that remain a key challenge for electrification, as the Minister mentioned, given the country's geography and the sparsely populated areas, mainly in rural areas. Off-grid solutions could be a compelling access solution for these populations, and notably as a first access solution until a more sustainable option can be provided. And then we looked at the mining sector. As has been mentioned today, the mining sector represents a very big part of Namibia's economy. And in 2023, it accounted for 14% of the country's gross domestic product, and that is equivalent to roughly more than $1 billion United States dollars. Mine and refined minerals and metals are already Namibia's biggest exports, and they account for more than 50% of its foreign exchange earnings. All of this sector, it's an energy intensive and accounts for 21% of electricity demand in the country. This energy demand is even expected to increase further as Namibia moves downstream to capture a larger share of the mineral value chain and bring wider socioeconomic benefits to its population. And then renewables can offer multiple benefits also for the mining sector. They can hedge against electricity price volatility and offer a path to cheaper and more predictable electricity prices. They can also help mining companies to achieve their decarbonization goals, and this is driven by increased scrutiny from governments, from consumers and investors, and this in turn impacts the access to sustainable finance by offering a more sustainable product. Lastly, using renewables to power mining and processing operations can really enhance the value of these commodities, thereby boosting their competitive in certain export markets. And we looked at Namibia's ambitious hydrogen program, and indeed Namibia's ambitions for the renewable hydrogen production would need to be supported by an unprecedented investment in renewable electricity generation. Approximately 50 terawatt-hours of electricity would be needed to produce 1 million tons of hydrogen in 2030, and that is Namibia's current production target, and this represents an increase of 12 times more the current electricity generation. Hydrogen production targets for 2040 and 2050 would require an even more significant increase in electricity generation, 250 terawatt-hours in 2040 and 500 terawatt-hours in 2050, and that's 60 times and 120 times today more than current generation. Currently, Namibia does not have a big domestic market for renewable hydrogen, although the country is actively exploring ways to allocate a part of the production for future domestic use. And in the meantime, a significant part of the production would need to be exported. Within the African continent, Namibia could consider transporting hydrogen to neighboring countries via pipeline. This would give Namibia a cost advantage compared to other possible exporters outside the continent that would need to rely on more expensive transport in the form of shipping. Delivery to international markets would require shipping hydrogen in the form of ammonia, which would necessitate large-scale investments in port infrastructure, development of ammonia handling expertise and skills. The economic feasibility of transforming Namibia into a supplier of renewable ammonia relies on its capacity to produce ammonia at its lowest possible cost, along with the necessary infrastructure to supply it to international markets. Renewable hydrogen and ammonia projects have a relatively high share of upfront capital costs, making them sensitive to financing costs that, as Mary mentioned earlier, can be up to 2 to 3 times higher in emerging markets and developing economies than in advanced economies. We looked at the numbers and assumed 15% cost of capital. An optimized large-scale plant could produce renewable ammonia at a cost of about $1,400 United States dollars per ton. However, if the cost of capital could be significantly lowered to 5%, that would cut the levelized cost of ammonia production in Namibia to $740 United States dollars per ton. Reductions in the cost of electrolyzers and renewable power would further reduce the cost of ammonia. And if the cost of electrolyzers can be reduced, thanks to acceleration in the global manufacturing, to about $1,100 United States dollars per kilowatt hour, this would drop the cost of producing renewable ammonia by 20%, reaching an even more interesting price of $570 USD per ton. Assuming further 25% reduction in the cost of renewable electricity, the levelized cost of renewable ammonia could reach $560 United States dollars per ton by 2030. One of the key aspects, and I come back here to the first question that we asked, how can these opportunities drive socioeconomic development for Namibia and for its citizens? So one of the key aspects that we looked was the implications and the trickle-down effects in terms of socioeconomic development. There is a firm expectation that large-scale capital-intensive investment projects will generate opportunities not only for local communities, but for the nation as a whole. All stakeholders must take close and coordinated action to ensure that such projects provide tangible socioeconomic benefits and support broader development goals. Incorporating socioeconomic considerations in renewable project design can support job creation and skills development, can lead to direct investments benefiting communities, and attract fiscal revenues that can be deployed for infrastructure development and public services. Leveraging those projects to accelerate socioeconomic development hinges on the interplay of 3 critical enablers. The first one, investment. Since clean energy projects are capital intensive and they have large upfront costs, mobilizing affordable finance is critical to secure investments. High cost of capital translates into high project costs, which can threaten its bankability. De-risking projects and lowering this cost through targeted interventions combined with policy support is critical. The second enabler is policy. Policy design and calibration play an important role in de-risking projects by offering investors clear, transparent, and predictable frameworks. Robust governance frameworks typically include guidelines for fiscal management, the use of sovereign wealth funds for natural resource revenues. And last but not least, partnerships. Building long-term partnerships with importing countries to create new markets for renewable hydrogen and its derivatives, as well as critical minerals, will be equally important. And on all three accounts, Namibia has already been taking significant steps. It has set up the country's first blended finance mechanism, the SDG Namibia 1 Fund, to support fundraising for renewable hydrogen projects. It has established a sovereign wealth fund to promote the sound management of natural resource revenues in view of ensuring prosperity across generations of Namibians. And it has signed memoranda of understanding with countries interested in importing renewable hydrogen and its derivatives. As it pursues its clean energy ambitions, Namibia can continue to learn from its peers, continue to lead by experimenting with policy innovations, and will chart its own path towards unlocking its potential to realize sustainable development vision, Namibia's sustainable development vision, which will pave the way for prosperity for generations of Namibians to come. We're very proud to have this report launched, and I hope you find the findings useful. Thank you very much.
Although we have been thanked, we are going to formalize it so we can wrap it up nicely for everybody before we finally close the Leopard stage for today. So I'm going to invite on stage, she supports the Namibia Green Hydrogen Program. To give us a vote of thanks, none other than Mnyupe Ipangelwa. A round of applause, please.
Can we please have a round of applause? Another round of applause, please. Directors of Ceremony, Minister of Mines and Energy, Honorable Tom Alweendo, the Deputy Executive Director for the IAEA, Ms. Mary Warlick, the Program Manager for Africa, Ms. Rita Madeira, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm standing in for James Mnyupe, who could not be here today. We all know he would have loved to be here to celebrate this milestone. He's very passionate about the sector. So my name is Mnyupe Ipangelwa. I'm a green hydrogen advisor supporting the Namibian Green Hydrogen Program. So I'll present the speech exactly how it is and how I've received it. So word for word, full stop to full stop. I will not add or subtract anything. I'll just read it exactly as it is. So it is a pleasure to join you. It is a pleasure to join you today as we mark the launch of this important report from the International Energy Agency, which outlines renewable energy opportunities for Namibia. Thank you all for being here and lending your expertise and attention to what we believe will be a cornerstone in Africa's energy transition. Over the past hour, we have heard from esteemed speakers, including Honorable Tom Alweendo, and a compelling presentation from Rita Madeira, which shows the abundant potential Namibia holds in renewable energy. The findings discussed today are more than just data points. They are pathways. The vision of a sustainable energy future is an opportunity for Namibia and Africa as a whole to lead the global energy transition, embracing green industrialization to foster economic resilience, enhance job creation, and support sustainable growth. However, realizing this vision will require partnerships that span both the public and private sectors, dedication to capacity building, and a clear supportive policy environment. Namibia's commitment to such a framework is steadfast, and with continued collaboration from organizations like the IEA, we are all well positioned to implement practical and impactful strategies. As we close, on behalf of the Namibian Green Hydrogen Program, I extend my gratitude to the International Energy Agency and to everyone who has contributed to the insight presented here today. Your work is integral to our journey towards a sustainable and prosperous future. Let this report be the foundation for further action, investment, and innovation. Together, we can shape a resilient, renewable energy future for Namibia and Africa. Thank you.
I love what you said, word for word, full stop to full stop. I'm going to use that from now on. So we're going to bring the Leopard stage to a close for today. We're landing the plane on time, but before you all leave, just a few announcements. So we do have cocktails that are being served on the rooftop terrace here at the CTICC. So please come and join us. It's open to everybody here. Come mingle, network, collaborate, because through collaboration, we can really move forward. Now, tomorrow we'll really be diving into leadership, supply chain. We'll even have country spotlights on Uganda and Gabon, amongst other places. So please, if you're joining us, and I implore you to come back because I'll be on the stage tomorrow, do be seated by 8:45, that's 8:45 tomorrow, so that we can start at 9 o'clock promptly. And so for today, that's it. Good night, and see you tomorrow.